Hello, Mr. Tanaka. How you doing?
Yeah. How are you?
Doing well, sir. Doing well. Hopefully you're not too busy at the moment.
Oh, pretty much just hanging out, man. What's going on with you?
Well, we've definitely been planning this for a little while since we spoke to you last October when we had Johnny on and talking about the happenings of the MCW crew. And we thought, what better way to go ahead and bring on another wrestling legend, as many of us will consider you, because you've traveled the world, you've been in the ring with the best, you've beaten the best, and you got to work with the best. Let's just put it that way. And I can just only imagine you have quite a story to tell, and it just would seem only right that we bring you on.
Yeah, it's been a long journey, my brother. Long journey in this business.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
I got to meet some of the best, but we touched on it a little bit back in October, but let's go back and kind of recount how you went about getting into wrestling. I mean, what were some of the ways that kind of inspired you to get into professional wrestling? Was it watching some of the stars on TV? Did you just kind of wake up one day and just have the wrestling bug? How'd it go?
No. In fact, I never watched wrestling before. My father was a professional wrestler.
Whoa. Wow.
And, he was a promoter here in Florida. That's what he became after he wrestled for so many years. Mm-hmm. And I started out refereeing when I was really young. Probably I was 12 years old. I'm there, 11, 12.
Wow.
Pretty young when I started refereeing. So it's pretty crazy back then, man. I mean, I grew up in this business, so it's been quite, like I said, quite a journey.
And
it's amazing I'm still around,
And usually when you grow up around the professional wrestling, you get into it and become really successful at it because, you're constantly, you're evolving yourself around it.
Yeah, and that's one thing, you step your foot in there, and once you get wet, it's over with. You're pretty much soaked for the rest of your life with this business,
Absolutely. And when because we had touched on it earlier before we brought you on, that you actually got to work with Vern in the AWA for a little while before they finally went out after Vince bought everybody out. What was it like working during that time? I mean, I know AWA was running pretty hot for many, many, many years, and then I think towards the early to mid '80s, things started to change a little bit. And I believe, when did you get the call from Vern to come on up to AWA to work with him?
Well, I was in Tennessee at the time, and it was me and Paul Diamond were working down there with Akio Sato and Tarzan Goto. Jeff Jarrett was my partner before Paul, and we had a hell of a run there. And then I guess we were in Pensacola, Florida, wrestling up there and down there, and Wahoo McDaniels took over the book. And that's when Wahoo gave me a call and said, hey, man, come on up, And, Wahoo was one of the greatest guys in the world, man. I love Wahoo more than anything. He was awesome, and he's the one that first gave me my break. He really gave me a huge push, and he was incredible, he really did. He was awesome. And he's the reason why, I was there.
Yeah.
Him and Ray Stevens.
I remember him.
They were the real deal, man. Talk about, people that could draw money and manipulate a crowd. They were the guys,
Yeah,
and I was lucky.
Stories.
Yeah, I'm sure you've heard a few of them. So, it was crazy back then. We were working with the Rockers, the Nasty Boys, I mean, the best, the Guerreros, It was an incredible time for us.
So was it your dad that trained you?
What's that?
Was it your father that trained you? Did he train you, or was it somebody else that trained you?
Hiro Matsuda was my trainer.
Hiro Matsuda.
I had a feeling you might say that. Because you said Florida, and he was known for that area to working and training so many guys, Hogan, and just to name one, I mean, one of the more famous ones was Hogan, and he talked about how serious and old school Matsuda was. You're going to come in here, you're going to earn your spot.
He beat the living. I mean,
hell out of you.
Wow. He was an animal in there. His when you walk in, you know that you're going to be tortured, you know. It's right off the bat, 1,000 squats, you know, 1,000 jump squats, you know. And the training was grueling, and you know, it's not like he would let up on you, you know. You couldn't do it, man. He was going to beat the living shit out of you after that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He didn't, you know, he was not nice about it. Because back then they believed if you wanted this business, that you would do what they asked, you know, and you had to be tough, you know. I mean, that was part of the requirements, you know. They weren't going to just like any, you know, Joe Blow off the street walk in there and think they can wrestle just because they're big guys, you know. You had to walk it, you know, and you had to do what they asked. It was grueling. You know, I was there when they were training Hulk, you know. Hulk, you know, I mean, that guy, you know, looking like he did, still, they put him through probably more hell than they did anybody else. Because, you know, he was so big, you know. So they wanted to show him that it didn't matter how big he was, he still had to do what they asked. And I tell you what, that man did. I mean, he went through hell. They broke his leg, he still came back. He was the animal. What's that?
That's dedication right there.
I mean, he was unbelievable. And that's why he was so successful today. You know, because he never gave up. You know, he was there no matter what. You know, they tried to break him, and they never did. And that's why he is what he is today.
And people don't know.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say, Hulk Hogan, I mean, people are always saying different things about him, but he worked hard for this. He loves this, you know, and that's why he wants to stick around as long as he can.
He earned every penny he made. There is no doubt about it.
He definitely was the draw back then.
I mean, people talk shit about him, but I tell you what, man, you know, they never walked in his shoes, and they couldn't even, I mean, honestly, there's nobody that can walk in his shoes. That man was incredible, you know, for as big as he was, you know, and the abuse he took in the beginning of this business, you know, he definitely, he really changed. He changed professional wrestling. There is no doubt about it. You know,
Absolutely.
You know, from making hundreds of thousands to millions, he's the one that changed this whole thing.
And even kids today know his name from him being so successful. I mean, people even that are 5 years old know who Hulk Hogan is.
Absolutely. He's an icon. I mean, he's an icon that, you know, there's different types of stars in this world, you know, movie stars and things like that. But when it comes to, you know, an athlete or professional wrestling or a professional athlete, you know, if you say Hulk Hogan, everybody knows him, you know?
Exactly.
I mean,
even
you
if
got
you
to be
don't watch
from a
wrestling.
different planet. Exactly. Even if you don't watch wrestling, you know who Hulk Hogan is, you know?
Exactly.
I mean, you say Pat Tanaka, and they're like, who the hell is that, you know? And I have been in this business as long as he has, you know, and that's the difference. You know, I mean, he is a household name, and I mean, wow, what a thing he did for our business, you know. Really, people could talk all the shit they want about Hulk, but he is the reason that professional wrestling is on the map today.
Yeah, he teamed up, and him and Vince took it to a new level. I mean, obviously he was the one out there doing it all, but I mean, do you think? I mean, I'm sure Vince was thinking himself pretty big, picking the guy who he picked to take the wrestling world by storm.
Oh yeah, I mean, you know, it doesn't just take a wrestler; it takes everything. You know, I mean, the promoter, everything, and Vince is a genius. You know, he's the one that made Hulk. You know, and Hulk is the one that had a dedication to me.
People actually, you know, get on Vince for they actually call him the devil himself, but I don't think I've ever heard anybody say that he wasn't a genius. I think, in fact, that's the first thing they say about him. They say, you know what, he's a prick, he's an asshole, but you know what, the man is smart and he's a genius.
Well, I mean, you know what, people who say he's a prick or whatever, you know what, they're just, it's bitter, that's it, man. Because, I mean, he gave everybody a chance that, you know, deserved it. and really either they blew it, or they, they just didn't want it. You know what I'm saying? Because he wasn't as evil as everybody said. Everybody can talk, what they want about how he does business and everything, but you know what, man? He did me right, and who am I? He gave me a chance, and I tell you what, man, it was a gift. As small as I was, to be in this business was, unheard of. And he gave me a shot.
Because that was the world of the land of the giants back then, and
exactly.
You didn't see too many little guys.
No, there was none when I walked in. Nobody really wanted to work with me. They're like, oh no, they were going. I know, it really was hard for anybody to get in there with me because they didn't want to wrestle me. They were going, God, they didn't want to sell for me. They didn't want to do anything for me. But, it was the real guys, the real pros. They got in there and said, hey, man, let's do it, Yeah. And they gave me a break.
As you were speaking about Vince giving you the opportunity, how did it come about that you have the meeting set up with Vince to come on down to the WWF at the time to talk about a deal, and how did it come about that the Orient Express was born?
Well, I honestly, I couldn't tell you exactly how they came up with the Orient Express, but I know it was Sato that came in there first, and they asked him who they wanted as a partner, and he said me, and Vince was behind him all the way on that, and there was a lot of people that, definitely didn't want me there, because of my size and everything.
Well, haters turn into motivators.
Sato was a great guy, one of the best workers I've ever met, and an awesome person, and he's the one that gave me the shot. And then I think his whole thing was that he wanted to be in the office more than wrestling more because he was getting up there in age, He was smart, saved his money, got in the office, He was, he's another one, saved his money, did the right thing, Good guy. And then that's why they bring in Paul.
And
so that was Paul Diamond?
Yes. Queso.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
So that was the big thing there. He was the man. There was no doubt about it.
Going back to Vince for a second, he was the first person to basically have the marketing savvy that he did, bringing in all these, action figures and all the stuff that he brought in to make to promote his wrestlers. He was one of the first people to actually do that. There's never really had, anybody before that actually promoted his wrestlers as much as he did, which is why he was so big.
Absolutely, man. He was a marketing genius. Everything that he did turned to gold. I'm sure that a lot of things, didn't go as he planned, but, honestly, you look at it today, man, there's not much that you can say about the guy that he did not do,
Exactly.
And he's working every single day.
What's that?
I said he's still working. He doesn't take a day off.
No.
He's never taken a day off since 1980.
Exactly. That's why, that's why he's a billionaire today, and you got to give the guy, all the credit in the world, changed his whole business to what it is today. So, I just think that people that talk shit about him, are the people that, didn't make it, pretty much, or they're bitter, And I'm sure, maybe they have good reason or whatever, but, to me, he really, he really gave me a gift, to be honest.
I was actually going to ask you, what was it like working with Harry, with Mr. Fuji?
Yeah, it was crazy.
Was he known for actually a big ribber like they said he was?
He was the man for ribbing. He did not want to fuck with Fuji.
How would you expect
no doubt about it. Honestly, if you're gonna mess with him, you're in it. honestly, because, you'd be drinking a glass of water one day and you know what, it's going to be piss. Bro, he don't care. He's evil. He would do shit that, wow. You think, holy shit, what did I just do? And that's the truth. It's amazing.
Mr. Fuji was one of the best.
Yes, no doubt about it, man. I loved him. He was awesome. There was no doubt about it.
I actually would like to see one day, if the WWE decides to go this route, is to open up a particular wing for the tag team division. Because as I was telling Austin, we were talking about this before he brought you on, you were around in the WWF at the time when tag team wrestling was really
huge.
At its peak. It was huge back then. Guys, Heart Foundation, the Rougeaus, the Bushwhackers, the Rockers, the Orient Express,
Legion of Doom,
the Legion of Doom, Nasty Boys. I could go on and on.
Exactly. And I tell you what, thank God for that. Because definitely I could not have been a single wrestler there. Absolutely, I was way too small for that, and I was blessed to have, such a great partner as well, Paul Diamond was, incredible.
But you know what, though? I have to give credit where credit's due, Pat, but I honestly think that if they had given you the opportunity to, you would have had a good run as maybe even an Intercontinental Champion.
Hell yes.
Guys like Bret Hart, Mr. Perfect.
Me?
Yes, you.
Are you talking? No, there's no way.
I think you would have a good singles run.
Well, I you know what, to be honest, there's no way in the world, because, if you look at it, my weight, my size, I was too small. And the biggest thing that about me was that, I worked my butt off in the ring, and I would, for anybody, I'd do anything in that ring for anyone. But the thing was, I had no charisma. I was, plain Jane, as they say, I had no rap. I didn't have the rap. I didn't have anything like the other guys, And that was my biggest downfall in this business. I could not get the rap down, I just didn't have it, And I think that was why, I never really got a real push or anything like that, because I didn't have that talk, I needed a manager. I needed someone out there rapping for me, because I surely couldn't.
You could still have a manager. You could still have a manager, but I was saying, even now, if you think about it, smaller guys back in that era definitely paved the way for the guys like today, guys like Rey Mysterio, guys like Chris Jericho, guys like, Daniel Bryan, for an example, You're in that bunch,
Well, those guys, wow, I watched them work today. They're pretty incredible, to watch that. It's just like, man, they are incredible to watch work, But, I'm really, people say that, I was like what they call a pioneer of small guys coming into WWE. Well, I'd like to say, but it was just, right time and, the right place. You know what I'm saying? I was lucky, and, that they gave me, a chance in there. So, honestly, all these people saying that, I appreciate it, but to be honest, like I said, man, I was just at the right time in the right place, and the right friend, So.
And if given the opportunity, and as we were talking earlier, if this, because obviously people know that you're training with the MCW crew, and let's just say, throw it out there, if by chance Triple H reaches out to you and say, hey, Pat, we see what you're doing, we like what you're doing, would you come down and train, even if it's just for a weekend or a week kind of thing, come down and train some of our guys and gals, get a feel for the facility down here in Orlando? Would you ever consider even going down to check it out?
Well, of course. That would be the ultimate goal, to be there training people, And, I guess everybody would. You know what I'm saying? That would be awesome.
I just think that you have a wealth of knowledge that you can share to this generation that would do anything above anything else, would help train them and prepare them for what's to come in the next phase of their wrestling career?
Well, I mean, gosh, I mean, you don't know how much, I would love that, you know what I mean? But I just, I don't know.
Understood.
I don't know, I mean, honestly, I guess, hopefully someday they'll ask me when I'm just about on my last leg and dying, That's what my luck was,
And
but,
going into New Japan Pro Wrestling, in
yes.
this company, you have more of a chance than anybody can wrestle. Well, I'm not saying anybody can wrestle, but you have more of a chance if you're a little guy or something to wrestle in New Japan Pro Wrestling and be successful. And you had a chance to wrestle there. How was it like?
Well, I started there in the dojo.
Mm-hmm.
I went through the dojo there, and thank God that I went through the training before I went there with Hiro, Matsuda. I already knew what to expect and, to be in shape when I got there. And, wow. It's pretty intense. I mean, it's just like being in the Army, going through boot camp. The training's grueling, they're brutal there. They'll beat you to a pulp every day. I mean, it's hard, So, another time, where I was lucky enough to train with Hiro, he got me ready for it.
And we had,
you know what? Go ahead, man.
We had Kevin Von Erich on, I think it was like last month, and he was saying that he has his son's Rawson Marshall, and he didn't want him to start him anywhere else but firstly in Japan. That's where they're starting. That's where they're training right now, and he has high expectations for him. Starting in Japan, starting there, the New Japan Pro Wrestling Dojo, I'm guessing that's what it's called right now. But isn't that the place to be to train? To start off.
My God, if you can make it through that training, absolutely. I mean, you're going to make it because everybody that goes there. I mean, pretty much. I mean, you see the people that came out of there. That have made it. I mean, they're all superstars now. I mean, going through that dojo is probably one of the hardest things you'll ever do. And there's no doubt about that.
And a great sense of accomplishment once you finish it.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. That's wow. That's all I can say is, people that made it through, it's incredible. It's an accomplishment, man.
I mean, yeah,
anybody who's been through it, I mean. What was that?
Going back to the early 90s, after you'd left the WWF, you went to work with WCW a little bit. Working, were you, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, you were working and your boss was Bischoff at the time, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
And how sounds
yeah, I mean, Eric, I don't know. I hate to talk bad about anybody, and Eric, I mean, he's, he got a great position, and I the only thing I can say is he really did abuse his power, and he'll tell you that, and he abused it to the point where, people hated him, after that.
Understood.
Because he was taking great talent, throwing them down the tubes because they weren't his friends, or they wouldn't kiss his ass.
That was his downfall.
Oh, absolutely.
At the same time, though, if he could have bought WCW back and made it his own without Ted Turner, I honestly think if he could invest his time and money into it and make it his own, I really think that WCW would not have died. That's just my opinion because I believe he's that smart. But back then,
that's the thing about it. I mean, he had it by the balls. I mean, he really did. He turned that place into something else. Think about it. I mean, my God, he brought it up to where it was supposed to be a tax write-off, and he took that thing and ran with it for real.
He did, and
almost, really made it.
And the atmosphere during that time, what was it like for you working there? I mean, not necessarily. I'm not asking to bash anybody at all, but I mean, for you working there and during that time, I mean, was the atmosphere? I mean, okay? Is it obviously like night and day to WWE at the time? I mean, was there something or anything at all that you enjoyed working while you were working there?
Working for WWE, there's no other experience. Once you've been to WWE, that's it, man. I mean, it's like working for the New York Yankees. I mean, it's the ultimate place to be. WCW was not even comparable.
I know.
There's no comparison whatsoever to me.
And to most.
I don't know how anybody else felt about it, but to me, oh my God, there was no comparison. It was just like the ultimate place to work. WWE was it.
Now looking back
go ahead.
Now looking back at anybody you've wrestled in the past, who were a few of the people you like to wrestle most, or you enjoyed wrestling with more than others?
Oh, well, that's pretty easy there. The Rockers, of course.
The Rockers, definitely. Shawn Michaels,
the best, right?
Exactly.
Most incredible.
They were on fire. Back then they had a great reign. As a tag team before they ended it, they were awesome.
They were incredible. Shawn Michaels, Marty Jannetty. You cannot. What a combination they were. They were impeccable. The timing was impeccable. Just their presence in the ring. Everything. They were, to me, probably the greatest tag team ever. Besides, honestly, I can't say that.
But you got to work with them. You have that first-hand knowledge to actually feel that you can say that too.
Absolutely. But I'm sure there's a lot of people would say, you're out of your mind or whatever. But definitely,
they don't get the credit they really deserve, to be honest.
Absolutely. They were, to me, top notch. Absolutely. And I love working with them. Marty Jannetty, of course, is one of the greatest guys in the world.
Did you foresee that Shawn was going to be as big as he got?
I knew that. Shawn by far is one of the greatest workers in the world. And Marty just, Marty is, definitely. Yeah, and it happens, Marty got, I'm not saying he got shafted. I'm saying that, it just didn't happen for him. He was great, and he's one of my best friends, and I just hate it.
Marty's one of the best, and he deserves to be given the respect that you feel he should get. And at one point or another, whether Vince wants to admit it or not, or even want to put him in there or not, if he doesn't put him in, there are so many guys that should go into this Hall of Fame that's being referred to as Vince's instead of the Wrestling Hall of Fame, but guys like Randy Savage, guys like even Marty, guys like Jake Roberts, I can go on, that should have already been in there years ago, and I'm including you in this as well, Pat. I believe at one point or another you should have already been in. If not, you should go in to a Wrestling Hall of Fame, to the WWE Hall of Fame, if that.
Well, I appreciate it, but I was in there, and hey, I tell you what, man, I was just happy to be there. I was lucky to be there. It was a gift, and whether I'm in the Hall of Fame or not, you know what? They can never take away what I had. I was there. So, that was, pretty much good enough for me. It was incredible.
Did you see all the stuff you've done in your career? Some guys don't even get to do that. It's amazing. You've been everywhere.
Well, like I said, man, absolutely, I've been everywhere, and I was just, honored, and it was incredible. I had a great run with him, and I'm happy to, ever to even be there, You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not saying
Yeah,
I
that's
deserved
fair,
it. I'm saying that I was lucky enough to be it and gifted enough to be there, you know?
Well, I'm not just talking about
Absolutely.
WWE. I'm talking about everywhere you went. New Japan, WCW,
Yeah.
AWA. I mean, everywhere you went. I mean, that's so awesome. I mean, how many people can actually do that and you know, just go follow their dreams and do what you did? That's amazing.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. And I mean, I feel blessed that I had that, you know. I mean, honestly, I do. I feel like, wow, you know, because there were so many guys out there that were so incredible, and they were probably 50,000 times better than I'll ever be, and they never made it, you know. And it's just, it's really sad because there were such talents out there that were, oh my God, just unbelievable.
And how did this partnership between you and Johnny come together that would eventually create the MCW? How did that come about?
Well, Johnny, I mean, me and Johnny go way back, and I mean, we've been best buddies for, I mean, 20 years, you know. We've been just great friends, you know, and this came about, man, and I looked at Johnny, I said, man, I have no knowledge of running a business, but you do. You know, he's owned gyms and things like that. And I said, how about this, man? I mean, you know, we get together on this, and I'll train him and do whatever and put the matches together. You're emceeing it, and you run the company. And it worked out so incredible, you know.
It did.
Yeah.
The brilliant minds come together.
Well, I wouldn't say. I mean, I'm just a small part, you know. He was the man, you know. I mean,
hey,
he had all the connections, everything, you know. And he's a great guy. He's my best friend.
Going on without you training, you know, you putting in. I mean, they must be so lucky. Must appreciate you so much for you doing what you're doing for them. I mean, you're basically making the shows go on.
Well, I mean, you know, it takes everybody, you know, and the MCW crew are awesome, you know. I got some of the best kids in there, man, you know, you know, Hillbilly, and I got Huggy Cub, you know, and all Blix and all these guys, Meatball, and, you know, it's been awesome with them, you know. And it's just incredible to work with these guys. They're awesome, and they're a lot of fun to be around, you know. So, you know, I got lucky again, you know.
You know a lot of good people, then, and obviously they trust your viewpoints and how you would go in there and put a match together, like you said, and just get in there and train these guys. I mean, obviously some of them come in with some wrestling talent, but some don't, and that's where you come in and coach them all and show them how to take bumps. And I can tell you right now, taking bumps is not as easy as it sounds, and it's not for everybody.
No, you know? No, it's not for everybody. You're right about that, man. And there are a lot of people that, you know, that say that, you know, they want to do this, and then they'll get in the ring and they're afraid to fall down just to fall down because, you know, it's not a natural thing to sit there and throw your body on the ground, you know.
Yeah.
People don't think about that, you know. They're going, really? You want me to just fall down for no reason? It's kind of funny, you know what I mean? You know, it's not a natural thing for someone to throw themselves on the ground. And that's our business, you know. Falling down, you know. That's a great job application, you know. What did you do in the past? Well, I fell down. I can fall down really good, I tell them.
The ones that get up are the ones that seem to be, you know, successful. Keep on getting up after they get put back down, right?
I'm sorry, what was that?
I said, and the ones that get back up are usually the ones to be successful, you know, and sure they really like what they're doing and continue to do it.
Exactly, you know, and I tell a lot of people this, you know, when you get in this business, if you don't love it, you know, then there's no reason to be in it. Because this business is hard enough when you love it. You know what I'm saying? It's already, the odds are against you once you step in there. And if you're just in there for the money, I don't think you're going to make it. You know?
Into that.
And that's true.
Into that.
You know,
I wanted to ask you, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, please go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask you now if that opportunity ever presented itself. I got to pose a what if question here. Austin, as we've talked many times in the past, those who listen to our shows know this. He's looking to become a professional wrestler once he's old enough and looking to pursue that career.
2 more years.
I would love to see him actually get into a training session with you, and you put him through the ringer and see if he can put up with it. Because I know he could. He's got the heart for it. But it's about getting in there and actually doing it. And I think that'd be awesome to watch. Have you get in the ring and show him the ropes a little bit and kind of teach him a little bit about how to take bumps and so forth. Would you ever actually, if it ever presented that chance to do it, would you be up for it?
Absolutely.
Me too.
Absolutely. You see, that's the thing about professional wrestling. Once you get into the money aspect, it's over. Your heart's done. It's the people that that love it. They don't care. They just want to do it. That are the people that are successful. They're the people.
There's a good example. Go ahead.
Who's that? Go ahead, please.
Oh no, I was just going to say a good example of that, of what you were saying too, goes back to a guy you had the opportunity to be around during your time in the WWE was probably the Brain Heenan, one of my all-time favorites. They talked about this in his Hall of Fame speech, working for basically nothing because he loved it that much. At the end of the day, he comes out with $3 that he got paid, and he did so many other things. He managed, he collected jackets, he did the drinks, he back and forth, and he only got $3. He didn't do it for the money. He did it because he loved what he did.
Absolutely, and if you watch him, there is no better, right? You look at him, Jimmy Hart, all these guys that just love it so much. That's why they are the best, And there's no other reason for it but to say that, my God, they are the best.
Yeah.
There's no doubt.
And the way I think about it is that when I die, I'm not going to be, the only green that's going to be surrounding my grave is going to be grass. So I'm not going to be caring about money or anything. That's how I think about it. I love professional wrestling so much. No money could ever even amount to doing that. Just I can care less about any money you can give me. I just want to do it. Love it.
Well, that's it. There's so many people that they look at TV and they see the glitz, the glamour, the money, and everything. But the real thing is, man, when you're out there and you say, I don't care, this is what I love, and that's when you become the best, right? You put your heart and soul in it, and you're the best. There is no better than that, And I think a lot of people that wrestle that are bitter today are the ones that were in it for the money, and that's it.
Now, I actually wanted to ask, would you be okay, Pat, if to answer one phone call from a caller? We actually have had one that's been on hold for a few minutes. Would you be okay with answering the question?
Absolutely.
All righty. Go ahead and bring this caller 8 from area code 801. Here we go. You're on the air with wrestling legend Pat Tanaka. Did you have a question for him?
Hey, Mr. Tanaka, it's Jagger Lane. I just want to say it's an honor hearing your story and getting to talk to you finally. What you just said was phenomenal, and it hit me really hard and struck me through what you went through is what I'm going through, and I just want to say thank you. I've been watching videos of you nonstop. My buddy Hillbilly that you trained from Micro always tells me, Pat Tanaka, great trainer. I just had a great training with him and everything like that. So what you're doing and what you and Johnny are doing is phenomenal. I wish you both the best of luck, and I can't wait to see you guys and be a part of you. I know me and Johnny have been in contact back and forth, and I know he wanted me to go out to Vegas this week and be a part of the stuff that they're doing on, but I haven't been feeling good, so I haven't went out there.
Well, Jack, I've heard so much about you, and show talks so highly of you, you know, and I tell you what, man, I really can't wait to meet you. I mean, I know the love. See, that's what I mean. You're the person that loves this business so much, it doesn't matter about the money. You're in it for the love, and that's awesome. And that's, I mean, show talks about you nonstop about that, you know, that you're just, the love that you have for this business is incredible, you know, and, you know, it's greatly appreciated how much you do for us already. Believe you me.
Thank you. Thank you. That just struck me really hard that I'm about to cry, but thank you. That means a lot.
Well, hey, I tell you what, Jagger, you keep it up, man, and thank you so much for getting on here, you know. I appreciate everything, and it'll be an honor meeting you. It'll be an honor meeting you. Absolutely.
Well, I hope in March that when you're in Idaho, that's like 3 hours away from me, I hope that you're there, because I'm going to be going to the one in Idaho in March when you guys are out here.
Oh, really? That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
I've
been trying to like get there back and forth, and me and Johnny have been trying to work something out, but since I'm so far, I'm willing to do whatever. Last time I was willing to go out there, but you know, things were so crazy that it didn't work out, and then this time he offered me, but it's just the weather here is bad, and then also it's like me not feeling good. I don't want to get anybody sick while I'm out there as well. So
I understand. I was just out your way. I was in Montana. I was in Bozeman just a few days ago. I landed in Idaho Falls because the weather was so bad.
Yeah, thank you, sir. I appreciate it so much.
Jagger, it's an honor. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks for calling in, Jagger.
Thank you.
All right. See, when it comes to moments like that, I know that's some of those moments that you guys truly cherish, because you don't realize how much of an impact you have on people until you actually get to hear from them.
Well, you know what, and I do appreciate it so much, you know, and that's the thing about it, you know, people like Jagger, man, they really, I mean, they inspire me, and I'm, you know, I'm already an old man and pretty much done, you know, and, you know, definitely, I know he loves this business so much, you know, it's incredible. So, man, Jack, thanks a lot for loving this business.
Yeah, he definitely does. He talks about it all the time, and I knew as soon as I seen that you were coming on, he knew he had to come on and hear the story and so forth. I didn't realize he was actually calling in until now, but you know, I think it was good that he got to talk to you, because, like I said, he is truly inspired by some of the greats like you, and just for that matter, like I said, being a little guy, you definitely you paved the way for a lot of other little guys. You consider yourself a little guy, but you know what? You had a huge impact on their lives and their ways of being professional wrestlers. So,
wow.
Like I said, you don't have to go into the WWE Hall of Fame, but to them and to all of us, you are a Hall of Famer, bona fide.
Without a doubt.
Well, I appreciate it, guys. You know, and you know, I'm speechless on something said like that, because honestly, you know, I mean, I have been in this business so long, and I've seen so many people make it so big.
Yep.
For the next day, you know, they're just, you know, I don't know. I mean, it's just, it's sad, you know.
It is.
And it just, you know, it kills me. And, you know, like right now, Marty Jannetty, my best friend in the whole world, man. I love him more than anything. You know, he's going through hard times right now. And what's that?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, but I was saying that he is actually one entertaining guy with some of the craziest posts on Facebook I've ever seen. But you know what? It's all in good humor, and I swear I'm laughing half the time I'm reading some of his posts, because he just comes up with the most craziest things to talk about. But
right. And I know right now, you know, I hear a lot of people trashing Marty right now on the internet and things like that. I guess he did an interview just a few weeks ago or something. I can't remember exactly what it was. But I tell you what, you know what? You take a talent like Marty Jannetty, he's, I mean, by far one of the greatest wrestlers ever in this business, along with Shawn Michaels, you know. And I know they have their differences or whatever. But you know what? You trash Marty, and I tell you what, man, it just makes me sick to my stomach because you don't know what it's like to walk in the shoes of someone like Marty, you know.
Exactly.
And I'm not going to even compare myself with him, you know, because he's one of the greatest guys I've ever met, and he's going through hard times like a lot of people do. And he's accomplished more than people ever dream of accomplishing, you know, and it just really is making me mad about people trashing him like that. He's one of the greatest guys in the world.
We would love to have on. He would be another guy that we would love to have on just to hear his story. You know, no censors, no WWE hovering over what he says or what he can't say. Just to let him tell his story. If he's got something to say, let him get it off his chest. If he wants to have fun, let him have fun. That's, to me, what I think is best for people that want to express themselves. They shouldn't have to be limited on what they can and can't say. And I know at one point I reached out to him, but he wasn't able to at that point. I would love to have him on here just to hear his story about, you know, just his life. I mean, I can only imagine what kind of incredible life he's had.
He has, and there's no doubt about it, you know. And, gosh, I was reading some stuff about what people were writing about him, and
they don't know. I call them haters, you know, just hate. Let them hate, because people are always going to hate.
Yeah, and they're people that they don't have a life.
Exactly.
You know? So they look at someone else's under a microscope just to trash him, you know. He's gone through hell, and you know what? He's one of the greatest guys in the world, you know. I mean, Johnny Green, Johnny G, my partner in Micro, he's one of the greatest guys in the world, you know. And I compare him to Marty because of the simple fact Marty is one of the greatest, sweetest, give you the shirt off his back, just like Johnny. And Johnny's doing awesome today, and people are pumping up, and I love that. But then you take Marty Jannetty, and then he does one, you know. I mean, we all do stupid things, you know. And now they're all trashing him to death, you know. And there's two people I love, and thank God they're not, you know, trashing Johnny, but they are trashing Marty. But you know, I've got to say one thing to say to these people that are trashing Marty. You know, you can go fuck yourself. That's how I feel. You know.
Amen.
There you go.
You know.
You know, so
absolutely.
please wish Marty the best on our behalf. I know he doesn't know who we are, and that's okay. But believe it or not, as many people that may hate on him, he still does have a huge fan base that do respect what he's done and what he continues to do for the wrestling business, because he still travels. He still goes off and does shows and meets up with some of his old pals and does signings for the fans because he loves what he does. And that's respectable. And if they continue to hate, then let them hate, because you know what?
Right.
Hate can turn you into a, you know, it'll motivate you to want to prove them wrong. Be like, you know what? You can hate, but look at me now, fuckers. You know.
Absolutely.
I apologize for the language there, but you know what I meant.
Hey, man, I tell you what, and I'm sorry I said it, but you know what? You know, people that talk shit about Marty, you know, really, it's bullshit. Because, I mean, they're the ones paying a ticket to see him. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So, he's still one of the greatest in my book, you know.
And you the people that are talking bad stuff about him ask him to, you know, go in his shoes, and they won't be able to, not even for a second, I don't think. If you let him, you know, if you had him, you know, actually put him in a situation, you know, and see what he goes through, I don't think they'll be able to do it for a second.
They wouldn't last, you know, and that's the thing. There's no way, you know. And I tell you what, guys, it's just, you know, I really wish some people would just, you know, sit back and really try to put themselves in the shoes, and they, you know, they talk about him like they're so much better. You know what, man? They've never done half of what he's done.
Exactly.
And never will. bunch of guys that never don't have a life, right?
No, that's true. Those are the ones that are the 40-year-old virgins in their mom's basement can't get laid, so they got to sit there and bash on everybody else.
Absolutely, man.
Okay.
They're the ones with the dicks in their hands, and they're going, I wish, you know?
But
definitely.
Is it something that, because I notice a lot of guys, and I'm not sure if this is the issue or not, but guys like Jake Roberts, guys like Scott Hall, even Jim Duggan just recently, and even the Sheiky Baby, you know, he's doing these little campaign thingies to help them out, and a lot of people have really been, you know, helping him out. Jake Roberts with his surgery, same thing with Scott, and Sheiky I think he's making a movie, and then Jim Duggan just had surgery too. I don't know the details on Marty, if it's something financial. I'm sure the fans would love to help him out. Has he considered doing something like that?
I don't know, to tell you the truth. I think he's got too much pride to ask people for that, you know, and I don't know, to tell you the truth, you know. I mean, I wish someone, you know, would help him out like that, you know. You know, definitely.
It's something to think about, because, I mean, if you think about that, too, you can go one step further and say if it was something in the same instances of what Scott and Jake were going through, that maybe Dallas would be somebody that could possibly help him out. He's helped out a great many people.
Right.
You know, I don't know, but, I mean, those are I think some people that could help if it's in that area of what is going on in his life. But I'm sure you've read about what Dallas has done, too, so.
Exactly. I think Dallas is just, I mean, he's an incredible guy, you know. He was my manager, and I'm proud to say that, you know. He was incredible. Boy, did he had the rap down, didn't he, guys? Boy,
yes,
I mean, he could talk some serious shit, man. He was awesome. There was no doubt about it. He had that rap.
Now, go ahead, man.
I want to ask you, for MCW, did you guys expect to actually have a TV show on True TV going into it, you know, that soon? No,
we didn't. Honestly, we always talked about it and things like that. Johnny, one day and says, hey, man, let's just do it. He goes, I'm going to make the call. Called Hulk, and there it was, man. He's the one that made it happen. And I tell you what, I was just, man, I was honored to be on that wagon with him, you know. It was awesome. Anything with Hulk, it was incredible. You know, anything you do with Hulk's going to be incredible, you know, so. You know,
with the rumors of Hulkster going to be possibly in New Orleans, like I said, it's a rumor, folks. I don't know if it's 100% true. My question to you is, could we see the MCW crew in New Orleans for WrestleMania weekend?
You know, I honestly couldn't even answer you there. Anything's possible, and especially with Johnny G running it, you know, I mean, absolutely anything's anything's possible with him running it, you know. So
I would be there, 30 minutes away from the Superdome.
All right, man.
You know, you actually came down to Houma, Louisiana. I think it was actually a few years ago. Y'all came down to Houma at one of the
Yeah. I remember that. We had a show up there in Louisiana.
I'm not sure where. I know it was in Houma because I got the flyer for it, but I can't remember where you had it at. It was I think it was at I can't remember. It's one of the municipal auditoriums or something. I'm not sure.
And I can't remember either. I can't remember the town's name or anything, but I definitely remember being there. And if I remember correctly, one hell of a crowd. I think we had 3,000 or 4,000 there. So it was great.
Louisiana. I mean, it's wrestling. Yeah. There's a lot of wrestling going on there, you know, all the time, every single week.
Absolutely, man. Those were the days back then in Louisiana, the territory there.
Mid-South in the Superdome, I mean, the WCCW, they were, I mean, wrestling in Louisiana, I mean, a lot of stuff happened there.
Yeah,
well, you can even remember, too, that he was talking about Jeff Jarrett during those days, too, and he was working with his dad's territory with Jerry. What was Jerry
Yeah.
like to work with? I mean, was he one of the greatest promoters that they talk about? Because I've heard such great things about him. He had such a great mind.
Jerry, you're talking about Jerry, right?
Jerry
Jerry was incredible. I mean, he was awesome. There's no doubt about it. You know, I love working for the man, and you know what? I'm sure I caused him a lot of trouble back then when I was a kid. But I tell you what, he was awesome. I mean, for someone running a territory like that, he did one hell of a job. He really did. Jerry, it's, you know, and it's crazy because I see Jerry every once in a while, and he's just like such a great guy, you know. They always say, "Hey, Pat," you know, and a lot of promoters and a lot of guys in his stature wouldn't even give you the time of day, and he always did, you know. And it surprised me on Facebook, you know, on my birthday, he'll always tell me "Happy Birthday, Pat" or something like that, you know. And that's for someone like him that's, you know, pretty busy all the time, for him to take out the time, I feel, you know, honored that he do that for me. You know, it's incredible. What a great guy he is.
And getting the chance to, I pose a question because I just seen the tweet up here about what your team name was with Paul Diamond, something to the extent of Bad Company. Is that right?
Yes, absolutely.
Interesting.
And
yes, because that was brought to my attention. I was like, wait a minute, you know, we touched on the time you had in AWA. We just never really actually delved into what your team name was and so forth.
Yeah, and I tell you what, I wish that we could have used that name, you know, in WWE. I think that, you know,
that would have been nice.
Yeah, because I tell you what, I think just the entrance music and everything really pumped up everybody, and I tell you what, it was awesome for me to use Bad Company to walk out to.
What was it like, you know, because I know you guys did the Sky Dome in Toronto in 1990 when you guys faced the Rockers. What was the atmosphere like coming out into that crowd in Canada? Do you remember?
It was pretty incredible, bro. I mean, wow. You know, I mean, oh my God. You have that kind of crowd, just the rumbling and the vibration went through your body. You know, that's how
I can imagine.
I mean,
yeah.
To feel something like that, I mean, you know, tears were coming down your face, you know, because of that feeling, you know, of all those people just going nuts, you know. It's an awesome feeling.
And people say it's
know.
actually an addiction, sort of, that you get addicted to it. Once you have a taste of it, you want to basically drink it. You know, go out into
It's their drug of choice.
Absolutely. You know, I mean, that's it's probably the best drug in the world, to tell you the truth, you know. I mean, people sit there and search for all these kind of drugs to get high and everything, walk out in front of 100,000 people. That's a high in itself, you know.
That's right.
Because everybody's watching you know.
Yeah.
That's true.
Absolutely.
And people say, I mean, that some things that you can do inside of a crowd while you're wrestling in front of everybody you can't do normally when you're just training in a ring without people, you know, looking at you.
Yeah, I mean, they don't realize, you know. I mean, just being out there for that many people, wow, you know. I don't know if you've ever been, you guys are on the radio, so I mean, you kind of know, like, you know.
I've been to WrestleMania. I've been in the crowd of WrestleManias of 80 to 70 to 60 different, you know, and just the atmosphere as being out there and a fan, you know, it is electric, and you're right. Austin, you said you hit the nail on the head. It is a drug. I mean, you go out there, and even as in a fan's perspective, I can't even imagine from a performer's perspective how they feel coming out there. The nerves, you know, bundling up on them. They got the bubble guts and everything, and they go out and all of a sudden it's gone, and it just lights them up. They get lit up, and then as a fan, it is electric. There's nothing like WrestleMania.
You ain't kidding. It's incredible. The feeling, I mean, the electricity that it gives off is just incredible. You know, you just like, I mean, I don't know. It's like, I don't know how to say it. I mean, you when you walk out and you hear that roar, right? I mean,
yeah.
They never roared for me, but I mean, just to hear the roar, though, it gets to you inside, where your tears will come out of your eyes. It's such a incredible feeling, It really is.
My last question to you, Pat, is in your career, which did you prefer working as a heel or as a babyface?
A heel, absolutely.
And you did it damn well, let me tell you.
Well, I loved it, and I don't know the real reason to be a heel is, I don't know, it's because you lead the match. If you're a heel, your job is to call it. And, but my thing was, I always knew, and that was the big thing about if you love wrestling or not, you always watched your opponent, right? And you knew when you wrestled him exactly how to make him look incredible. That's my job. And
look at it.
And that's what I love the most, is making someone look incredible. If I made him look incredible, I know I did my job. And that's the whole thing about being a professional wrestler. It's not, and people forget that, they get that egotistical thing inside of them, and they want to be the star all of a sudden. I always knew my place, making them like a star,
Testify, as Devon from the Dudley Boys would say.
What's that?
I would say, as Devon from Team the Dudley Boys would say, testify.
Exactly, man. So honestly, I mean, I love my job, making people look like stars, and that was my job.
And
now, I actually want to go ahead and say, did you have any final questions for Mr. Tanaka, Austin?
Oh, I was going to say, I always say this quote to everybody, to people I want to say it to, but why live a life if you don't at least do something remarkable? And you've definitely done something remarkable with your life. I mean, it's inspiring. I mean, how many people can actually say that they've been, around the world and back? I mean, it's
and living out the dream.
Well, it's like I say, guys. I mean, I really was blessed, and
yes, you were.
And I am really thankful for what I have had and done. I'm thankful. I really am.
And whether you believe it or not, you are a legend, without a doubt. You can say anything and be like, no, you are.
Well, I appreciate it. And I think just calling me a legend means that I'm old.
No.
It's a nice way to say it, old man.
No, you're not a relic. No. You're not a relic. You're a legend.
That was good.
No, but man, thank you. I really appreciate it, and I'm honored.
If
I'm
the
fans
want to keep up with what you're doing, Pat, if the fans want to keep up with what you're doing on your social media, how can they reach out to you? Do you have you have a Facebook? Do you have a Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest?
No, I don't have all that stuff. I'm not computer savvy, as they say. So pretty much just Facebook, and that's hard enough for me as it is. Reading it on Facebook is pretty hard.
Well,
but you can reach me on Facebook. That's the best way.
Awesome.
So, do you guys have any
final words, Austin?
Yeah, I was seeing that you had on the Micro Championship Wrestling's Facebook page that y'all actually coming out with some more tour dates for 2014. I think it's the 2014 that you guys are going more tour dates. I've seen something like that on the website, Facebook.
Yes, we're doing a lot of international coming up, going to Nicaragua. So I mean, doing well now. Johnny's doing one hell of a job getting us out there.
That's awesome.
So,
I look forward to
if you need any extra help, Austin and I volunteer.
Oh, awesome, man. Well, I tell you what, I'm going to hook you guys up.
Wait. Actually,
Austin can get in there and wrestle, and I can do the commentating.
That sounds great to me, man. I'll referee it.
You
there
guys
you go.
came,
Hey.
oh yeah, definitely. You guys come out with the season 1 MCW DVD. I seen. I made the cover for you guys. Designed the cover and stuff like that. It was a difficult task to get everything, but I did. It looks really nice.
Well, thank you so much for that, man. That's awesome. You know,
He's got a gift, man. He's got a gift of being a hell of an artist.
Well, I like to help you guys out. Anything you guys need.
Well, I can't wait to meet you guys, man. You know, so hopefully when you guys, you know, come to our show, man, we can hang out, definitely.
Most definitely.
You know what though? If you're able to come down to California, that's where I'm at, in the areas where Rikishi has his school. You remember Rikishi, right?
I believe I do. I know him very well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has his school out here. Him and Gangrel and Black Pearl, they got their school out this way. That's the only school that I know about here off the top of my head. But yeah, I'm out here in Southern Cali. So yeah, if you guys ever come out this way, let me know. I'll definitely head up that way.
Absolutely, I will. Definitely. You know, and it's been a pleasure. And it's been a pleasure being on your show, guys, man. Thank you so much for having me.
You know what? It's been an honor, sir, because just to get on here and hear the story that you've gone to, you know, from way back when to now. I mean, you've had a blessed life, like you said. But even from a fan's perspective, we're like two kids in a candy store, just kind of sitting back and be like, really awesome. You know, we're just having a blast because you've had a hell of a life interacting with some of the best stars, some of the greatest stars, and you don't give yourself enough credit because you're definitely one of the best. But we've had a blast, and I know that Jagger was definitely thrilled to speak with you as well as all of our listeners listening tonight. We thank you for taking the time to come on with us. Thank you so much.
Well, no, thank you guys. I appreciate it. And I thank Jagger, you know, and, you know, he's got a great friend, you know, Little Joe and Johnny, you know, they love him. And I tell you what, Jagger, I hope to meet you soon. And, guys, thank you so much for having me on your show. It's been an honor.
One last thing before I let you go. Would you consider coming back in 2014?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
You know, I
want to look into that.
Has to.
Yeah, definitely. We definitely got to have you back for part 2.
Absolutely, guys. I'd love to, man. Thank you so much, man. You guys take care of yourselves, and, man, it's been an honor being here.
All righty. Happy holidays, Pat.
Much respect.
Oh, you too. Take care, guys.
All right. Bye-bye.
Night.